Welcome to the Fab Forums. This episode, I'm gonna show you how to remove the cab molding on the C10s. So building this thing, kind of putting it back together on the channel, and figured since I was doing it, I might as well go ahead and make a separate how-to video on how to remove this stuff. I actually didn't know how to remove it myself. I'm just putting some new trim on the back of this thing, and didn't really know how to remove it myself. And so I was like, you know what, probably a good way, or maybe a good video to make, because people out there may want to know how to remove this stuff without, tearing up the molding or the truck itself. It's actually not that hard. So I was kind of looking, initially I was kind of looking for bolt holes to go through into the cab that you could kind of loosen up from the inside and pull the molding off. Didn't see any of that. So the cab itself is double layered. So on the inside, it has a different piece of sheet metal than you see compared to the outside. And so I didn't see none of that. Didn't see any access to, behind those panels. And so I was like, okay, it's got something else going on here. I ended up taking the corner piece and the back piece and kind of prying them apart. And then once I got them apart, I just kind of slid this back piece off the side. And then once I got that off, this piece here could kind of slide off the back. And I just assumed that was the way that it worked. That's how you did it. The problem was that it left, and this one actually goes on the other side, but the problem was that it left these little pieces right here on the cab itself. And I kind of looked at it for a little bit. I seen that it had some rounded edges. I kind of figured that maybe it twisted into that, but they were super tight against the chassis or the cab. And I didn't see any way to kind of pry these out in order to slide that new piece back in. And the other thing was that these pieces, when they go on the cab, these pieces kind of slide into that end piece. So it didn't make sense for you to slide it on this way, because you couldn't get it inside this back piece. So I was like, okay, it's gotta be something else. So then I was like, you know what, there's gotta be a way to get that piece out of here. So as you can see, like I told you, this inner sheet metal is different than the stuff on the outside. There's no way to really access it behind here. It's kind of the same way over here, except for that this one had some speakers. They were kind of placed right in here. And so I took the speakers out, and then you could actually reach your hand up in behind this, and there was a nut on the back of that piece that held it right here. So I took that nut off, that little piece then slides off. And once I kind of found that out, it kind of all made sense to me at that point. What's supposed to happen when you remove these is you want to take these pieces out of the cab first, so you can just basically loosen that nut that's in there. And then these pieces can then slide off this back piece. Once you get that off, then you can take the back piece itself and slide it off. And then as you replace these parts, you kind of go in reverse. You just slide these on, and then you place your side pieces back on. And I've replaced the plastic as well, and these are pretty simple. They just kind of pop on. They just, they slide up, and then you kind of pop them on sideways. So I got all new plastics. And then what I'm gonna do, because these things are super tight against the cab themselves, so these pieces are really tight against the cab, which they're supposed to be, because as that back piece slides on, you want it to be held tight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually use some guitar picks. So I've got 2 guitar picks that are about the same thickness. And then I'm just gonna kind of wedge these under these front pieces. Let's see. So I'm gonna take this little scribe here, kind of pick it up just enough to get one of these guitar picks in there. Kind of like that. I'll do the same thing on the bottom. So now these are kind of raised a little bit. And what I'll do is, as I slide that piece in, it'll just push those picks out. I'll kind of slide it close to this one, then put the picks into the second one. Same thing, just kind of all the way across. Once I get that thing all the way in, then I'll be really ready to go on the side pieces. All right, so that worked out pretty good. You can see I've got this back piece in now. And I will tell you, there's a little trick that you need to do, and you need to lubricate the inside of that track on this piece. So as these things kind of bend in, well, you can kind of see maybe. I actually sprayed some of that lubricating gel in those tracks just to help it slide down, and it was still really tough. So if you don't lubricate it, you probably won't get it on. So got it tapped in, got it all centered up. Now it's time to put the corner pieces on. So if you were just going to replace the originals, it'd be the same process. You just basically slide those in. Like I said, this is the wrong side, but and then, these come with new brackets. For whatever reason, the new kits come with 2 of them. So I don't know why that is, but maybe there's a reason. So then on these, all you'll do is a little piece goes in there like this, and you just give it a twist. It's got this little tab kind of goes in there to kind of keep it from twisting back. So I just position this thing where I feel like it needs to be to line up with that hole. That's pretty much it. Get the thing tightened up on the inside. I kind of hold those corner pieces while I tighten it up, and yeah, it turned out real nice. So whether you're taking off and replacing old ones or taking off old ones and putting on new ones, that's how you do it. You just gotta get your hands up in there, take those nuts off. The corner pieces come off first, then you slide the back piece off, replace all the plastics. If you have them, slide a new piece on, corner pieces go back on, kind of give everything a line, tighten it back up, and you're ready to roll. So there you go. If you've never been to this channel before, I don't really do that much how-to stuff, but I invite you to come hang out, watch some of the stuff I'm building, working on this hot rod right now. Always got something going on. So anyway, as always, thank you for joining me. A little how-to, y'all go do work, son.